Hello everybody! Today we're going to be doing a live commentary of the game Monster Hunter Wilds. Because they added Akuma, and I kinda wanted to make a video playing around with him and showing him off. So yeah, if you've never played Monster Hunter before, I'll talk about more or less how the game works and show off playing a Street Fighter character in it. So, yeah. Alright, first things first, before you hunt in this game, you always want to remember to eat some food, because it gives you a bunch of buffs. And I also just want to show this off, because this is one of the coolest parts of the game, at least for me. Let's just take some random items, like this jeweled mullet roe meat and delicious, and then we start cooking. This animation looks better if you're not Akuma. They made it so that what you cook on the pan is actually what you choose as your ingredients, which I think is really cool. Also, this food looks delicious and always makes me hungry. So, there's that too. Now, I was playing around with this super hard, like, collab assignment that I was trying to beat it as Akuma for the sake of a video. This is my second time trying to make this video, basically, because this did not go well. I got completely sucked into it, and I spent 4 hours just slamming my head into it. For anyone who plays a different game, like RuneScape, World of Warcraft, whatever, they set that up to be essentially a raid, and this game normally isn't built for raids, so it's just really a lot harder than your normal quest. So we're going to pick this. This will be 2 monsters that we're going to hunt. This game is called Monster Hunter. And we're gonna see how this goes. We've officially started the quest. And I'm going to switch to the Greatsword because the way Akuma works is you actually get better damage if you have better damage stuff on. So, good reason to try and have your strongest damage weapon on. Now, unfortunately, I just remembered that I took a thing off of that Greatsword and put it on my sword and shield. So we're not going to change, despite what I just said. If you look at the bottom right, there is a bar with the 6 little, like, I don't know what you'd call them, 6 little blips, 6 little, like, segments. The way Akuma works is he's got a move where you need to have all 6 of them in order to actually use one of his moves. This one. I'll show it in a sec. There you go. This thing. Where, like, I flash, and it's because it has a cool offset attack. The other thing is, you have a Shoryuken, right? Oh, ow. Which is the uppercut. You can only get that either by doing the input, which is a fighting game input, super inconsistent, or by, equipping the emote. So what I did is you have this emote wheel, right? And I just put the emote for the Shoryuken onto the wheel. I'll show it off as soon as I'm not mounting the monster. So yeah. This is called a mount. It's just basically a little mini game. You can get on top of the monsters and then get a big damage attack and knock it down. That's also why I'm not punching him right now. There you go. So, the damage of this, by the way, is actually not bad at all. But here's my wheel, and then press the Shoryuken button. And then BAM! Yet another reason why you need to try to keep your bar full. You can't do that move if the bar isn't full. But yeah. This is, probably the closest they've come to adding a new weapon into Monster Hunter in, like, 15 years. So this is super cool. Not that the weapons are completely the same. They've added new effects to different weapons and stuff, but the weapons have been the same for a minute now. Oh. Ow. So, I do still have my standard weapon, by the way. This is a sword and shield. The way weapons work in this game, pretty simple. You've got triangle and circle attacks, and pressing both the buttons at the same time will do something as well. And I believe there are 14 different weapons in the game, if my memory's correct. So, you have a lot of variety, or it might be that Akuma is the 14th weapon. But what makes him different is, first, you don't actually... Obviously, it's not actually a weapon. Instead, if you see the bottom right near the bar that I'm using to know if I can do stuff or not, I have assisted combo type Akuma. Basically what that means is... Whoa. Hey, stop. Chill. Basically when I press square, I do a punch. And then once I do this punch, I go into the stance for a little bit. And if I dodge, I get the special dodge. This is actually a really cool little dodge. It doesn't have a ton of iframes, but you go so far, it's just really good. You have the triangle attacks, which end in that. And then you have the circle attacks, which are kicks. And they're probably the best because they move you forward. The other attacks are very stubby. Also, if you press triangle too much, you'll pull out your real weapon. The other good thing about this, though, is if you press square 3 times, you shoot a fireball. That thing's actually really strong. You don't need to do square 3 times to do it, but the square one does like 10 times the damage. So, I always go for it. And yeah, other than that, you do have the Shoryuken. I just put it here, so you can only do the strong version as a combo ender. So either the square, triangle, or circle combos, any of them can be ended with a Shoryuken. And you get big damage burst, and it just looks pretty cool, especially if the monster's flying. Other than that, you can do square combos into triangle combos, triangle combos into circle combos, but you cannot go the other way. So if I press square, and then well, also this move is a whole separate thing, but you could do it with R2 or L2 plus R1 for PlayStation. Anyway, so if I do the first hit of my square attack here, and then I press triangle, I cannot start pressing square again to shoot a fireball. Just nothing happened. Okay, yeah, just nothing happens. It's just the first triangle hit is so quick, I just went back into my square combo. But, same deal, like, you can't go from doing your kicks into doing your punches. And I'll show off, yeah, 14 damage. Ain't built for that. Whereas that does 50. Now, the fists count as a blunt weapon, which means they're significantly more effective against, like, monster heads than they are monster limbs or tails. I accidentally equipped a throwing knife. Now, it's super cool because this is just, for all intents and purposes, a Street Fighter character in a game about hunting monsters. Now, one thing that you might, if this is somehow your first time ever seeing Monster Hunter, one thing you might be thinking is that it looks a lot like Dark Souls or a Souls-like. It is not. It doesn't really play anything like it. You're not supposed to dodge the monster's attacks by rolling through them with iframes, although you can, especially if you run something to make your dodging better. But for the most part, you're meant to fight by just not being there. It's like this big beam attack, just don't be there. You're not supposed to roll through it. Just don't be in that entire zip code. And that is the most consistent way to not get yourself killed in this game. There you go. Now, there is a whole wound system in this game that's new. So, if you look at this monster closely, you'll notice that he's got, like, scars and stuff. If I can hit those, Alright. This is one of the more annoying monsters in the game to hit up close. But if I can hit those wounds, it'll stagger the monster and deal bonus damage. And every weapon has a special wound attack. So for this weapon slash Akuma, that's the wound attack. I actually want to show off a different thing. Much like the game that he's from, you can actually do your wound attack like with square, square, triangle, circle super quick. And that's just a little bit better than using the drive sometimes. Nothing else, it looks really cool. But yeah. For the most part, this is a game where you hunt these monsters and you turn them into cool purses. Armor sets, actually. Every monster has multiple armor, two armor sets that you can make with it, but multiple different weapons as well. So, of the 14, I'm going to just say 14 because that's what I keep thinking it is. Of the 14 weapons, like, not every monster has 14 different weapons for it, but every monster has multiple weapons. So, like, this one might have a longsword, a greatsword, a bow, whatever else. Fuck. I didn't have my fists equipped, so I just put a mantle on for bonus damage and then took it off because it's you do it by pressing square. Offset attack. So you can parry the monster, right? That's what I just did. Basically, I was about to get hit, and then I pressed the button and knocked him down. Most weapons in this game have an attack that can do that, especially like the bigger ones. In this case, it was just a case of like, I don't know. With this guy in particular, it's kind of unfortunate. You lose access to this if you get the offset attack. So, kind of worth going for, kind of not. But it always looks really cool, which is my reason to do it. Similarly, I'm going to go for that Shoryuken because I'm trying to hit the tail. Oh. Yeah. And every armor set has its own effects as well, which I'll show off after this thing's down. I just kind of felt like getting into fighting a thing would be better than just talking about the game forever. Oh, I cannot believe this thing's alive. So. Oh, come on, dude. Die. Die to the cool thing. It's gonna die to, like, the dinkiest little punch, and I'm gonna be so disappointed with this game. Come on. Ow. Oh. I was gonna say, he just activated my heroics, which is a buff. When you're super low health, it just makes you deal, like, 20% more damage. So I was really excited to try and beat him with that, but, my cat healed me, so never mind. Alright, come on. Bro has been on his last legs for 3 minutes now. I think he's dead. Really? Holy crap, dude. He does not want to go down. He died to the two little punch. Okay, whatever. Alright, well, I'm burning to death from the heat, but after you defeat the monster, you get on top of them, you carve them for items, and that is how you make the weapons and armor that I was talking about. Very cool. And then, of course, you can heal up after the fight's over. Let's look at my stats real quick. So I've got Focus and Guard Up. The Guard Up doesn't help me much because I can't block with the Akuma stuff. But then I've got... the Focus makes that bar at the bottom right recharge like 10 seconds quicker about, which super helpful. Airborne, I deal 10% more damage in the air, so those kicks and that uppercut I do get a 10% damage boost. Evade window level 3 is what's making it look like I can actually dodge stuff with iframes. If you don't have that, you don't have iframes like you're used to in most other games. And then Part Breaker, self-explanatory. It makes it easier to break parts of monsters. Super cool. And then almost everything else is what it is. I don't have the greatest stuff in this game. I've not grinded it like I did the previous game. But that was because when this game dropped, it had horrible optimization. Like, it was borderline impossible to play. I could get away with it because I've got a really nice graphics card, but it was rough, and it made it kind of discouraging because none of my friends could really play, so I hit him. Cool. Re-equipped my fireballs for lore reasons, and let's get this monkey. Ow. Filthy monkey. This is one of my... I like this thing. Offset attacked. Yeah, offset attacks stagger things and do that. They're also just super cool. This is actually the monster that you fight when you unlock this character, by the way. Because Akuma... This is an armor set. So even though I'm a character from a different game, I'm not, like, selecting a character. I equipped armor that makes me look like this. I tried to do something cool, and it did not work. And that armor set is mandatory for this to be viable. You do, like, half the damage if you're not wearing this. But here we go. Hit him with the uppercut. One thing that's really cool about the uppercut is it jumps over a lot of attacks. And then we go... Hey! Alright. I have failed this input like 4 times. Come back, you filthy monkey! This is one of the worst places to fight this thing at because it's got these things that it swings from. I'm also just being super greedy because I really want to make use of heroics. Alright, well, I knocked him out, so that's cool. Hit him with the full combo. Ow. Heroics, by the way, unless you get it to level 5, also gives you a defense boost, which is how I'm not dead. At level 5, it gets an insanely better attack boost, like 30%, but it has no more defense boost, so you're basically guaranteed to die if you get hit, especially if you're using it against higher level monsters, or monsters that are actually meant to be fought by you at whatever point you're at in the game. You know, I am a little bit nervous that they're gonna get rid of this. Whoa! I'm a little bit nervous that, like, you're gonna lose the ability to use Akuma in the DLC, because one thing that's really neat about this game is they always make a higher difficulty in the DLC. So the DLC has an entire extra difficulty, basically. Whoa! Hey. And considering you need to use this armor set for this stuff to be usable, if they don't make a master rank, which that's what they call the higher thing, if they don't make a master rank version of this armor, you're just not going to be able to use this character anymore. This weapon. Ah, he healed me out of being in heroics range. Probably for the best. I just pick up? Let's go for an offset attack. Let's go for an offset attack on him. Bam. So, notice he didn't flinch this time. That's just because that's a one-time thing. Or, sometimes two, but going for multiple offset attacks is just to look cool. Now, playing like this is a lot more basic than other weapons. Other weapons obviously have much more complicated movesets and things they can do. But this lets you beat monsters to death with your bare hands, and that's kind of unique in its own way. So, I will never complain. I think this is one of the coolest things they've added to Monster Hunter, full stop, and I really hope that at some point they make this like a proper weapon type. Like barehanded. Especially, you know what they could do? They have this system in place where they'll make a mainline game, so like Monster Hunter 5, 6, 7, whatever. This is Monster Hunter 6, I think? But then after, they make a portable game for, like, the DS or whatever, and that portable game is usually a lot more experimental. So I'd like to see them experiment with making a hand-to-hand combat weapon in the next mobile game. Or not mobile, in the next portable game. Just because I have had a lot of fun, like, when I learned that this was effectively a whole moveset, it got me back into playing this game. And then if you want a real-life update, I had this video idea for a live commentary, and my first attempt at recording, I had to scrap because I played for 5 hours, and I stopped talking and just started playing. So I was like, this isn't exactly content. Now, if you think this game looks cool, by the way, I would definitely recommend checking it out. The only thing is, it's going to be expensive, but it's also popular enough where you probably have a friend who plays it, who could let you give it a try. And I will admit, it's clunky at first. Especially some of the weapons are intentionally made to be a little bit harder to use. My recommendation is just start with dual blades or sword and shield, because they play the most similar to other stuff that you've probably played before. And then if you feel like those are a little bit too basic for you, swap over to playing like Greatsword or Charge Blade, where they play completely differently. Actually, I could show off the Greatsword for a second here. So with the Greatsword, if you want to know what I'm talking about, when you pull this weapon out, this is as fast as you can move now. So, yeah. This thing hits like a truck, though, and the way that you play is you roll cancel and you sheath it constantly to just run around and dodge. And then if you want to know, this attack here will parry monsters like my other one did. It also has a block, which is super strong in this game in particular, because they added perfect blocking. But, you know, this is a game, or not game, this is a video about beating monsters to death with your fists. Why can I not? There it is. So, I've got my Corrupt Mantle on. I got a wound to hit. Bam. Okay, wait, Akuma with a mantle on looks kinda sick. Ow. Let me move! I'm actually gonna heal up here, because I don't want to waste my mantle, and I have an idea. So, I've only been doing the Shoryu as a combo ender, but you can just do it like this. I have a plan, as long as this monkey doesn't instantly die. Hey! Like I said, the kicks have the best range, so they're usually better for everything. I fucking equipped my throwing knives. I had a plan. It did not work. Alright, my mantle's done, so... Alright. Alright, this is not working like I'd hoped it would. One of the things that I like to do in Monster Hunter, especially when I'm hunting something a little bit easier, is go for a cool, like, last hit. I was super disappointed that the other thing fell over in just 2 jabs, so I'm trying to make up for that. But we will see if I can actually do anything. Ow. It would help if I stopped just, like, failing basic inputs, though. Give him some kicks. I tried! Oh. Am I gonna explode? No, I'm not gonna explode. Okay. Come on. If you're wondering how I'm equipping the throwing knives, if you press L2, so this button, and then L1 at the same time, you automatically go and look at your available slinger ammo, which, considering I need to press square to equip and unequip slinger ammo, and I need to press square in order to, special action power-up effect is activated. Ooh. I tried. I almost got the Shoryuken off. I wish it worked as an anti-air like it does. Like it does in the game. Don't die. Now you could die. Oh, it wasn't even weak yet. Oh well. Oh, there you go. I just accidentally equipped throwing knives. That was happening to me all the time, and it was making me so genuinely angry. Well, I guess I won. I didn't get the cool ender I wanted, but oh well. Yeah, in order to avoid accidentally selecting your throwing knives and ruining the whole character, you just can't press both of your left buttons at the same time. Or you can't, to put it differently if you're a PC keyboard and mouse player somehow, you cannot go into focus mode and open your radial menu here at the same time, because it will make you not be on the correct thing to use your combos anymore. But yeah. Bam. Overall, I really like that this is in the game, but like I said, I do think it's a little bit jarring to see Akuma punching these monsters to death. But hey. Oh, right. You get a special outro too. So you get a picture of your final hit, but I think the Hadoken that I shot at it flashed or something. Because you're normally supposed to be able to see the final hit on the monster, and clearly we cannot, so oof. Yeah, that's basically Monster Hunter Wilds. The story is okay. The main thing is you go, you kill monsters, and then you turn them into cool gear. So if I could find the blacksmith real quick, I think that would be the last thing that I'd really want to show off. Ah, there you are. Let's just preview some. Ceremonial. and all of them have slightly different effects. Here's a monster armor. These were from events. So this is a Laggy Icarus. And that's armor B. This is armor A. They usually have slight differences. No, actually they don't. The reason why you'd pick A or B is because it has different gem slots, which they let you customize what skills the armor have. So usually A has better skills like base, but B has better gem slots. Numinous. You could look through armor sets in this game all day. There are a lot. Oh, I actually really like that. Anyway. As I said, I'd recommend giving the game a try if you thought it looked cool. Find a friend who has it, and yeah, go from there. I actually have this full armor set. I think it looks really cool. And you make this with parts from all the different monsters you can find. And then eventually they add DLC and make all of these armors irrelevant, and then you've got to go to Master Rank. So, just like there's low and high rank here, there is a rank above high rank that we just don't have yet. You can fight most monsters in low and high rank. It's only like the endgame ones where you can only see them in high rank. And then you can fight them again in Master Rank. And typically they have more stuff they can do. Alright, well, now that I've more or less killed this video's watch time percentage, thank you all so much for watching. This was a quick little video as I prepare some other stuff that takes a little bit more editing. And also I thought live commentary would be easy, and then my entire day got eaten by playing Monster Hunter. Oops. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, see ya. I forgot I was Akuma. That scared the... Okay.